terms of the Black Stars. So anytime at all they have the call-up, they will honor the call-up. I know so far as they are playing in the major, one of the major leagues, definitely one day the manager will consider to call them. And it's not only the call-up in terms of football. You call and the person will come and the person doesn't perform, that is not good for the IUs. We always make sure when they are here, they perform. The IUs, when they are on the field, there's nothing called awam. That's the character of IUs. We are Kassanes, and we think we have the Kassanes character. And the same thing applies to our boys. So I don't think we have anything hidden.
Kwesi Appiah has started looking at his call-ups for the next AFCON qualifier with Ethiopia that the Black Stars will be engaged in. And we are reliably informed by our sources here at the Joy Sports that the IU brothers will be called up. We have it on authority that it will be done in the next day or two. And the voice you just heard was of Sola Ayu, an uncle of Andre and Jordan. And he was speaking earlier when he was asked about the growing perception that the boys were being sidelined, for a better word. Now, with their calling up at an interesting time when they are not in form. Jordan Ayew was not called throughout an entire period when he was in good form for his club side in England, and now he's going to get the call up. Same with Andre as well. We're going to ask the question, why is Kwesi Appiah calling them at the time that they don't have form? When a lot of Ghanaians say that they want to see X and X player, that is when they are in form. And why is this happening? Is it that he's bowing to public pressure from a section of the Ghanaian public that say they want to see certain players in the team? If so, is it healthy? Odate Lamte was on the line, but we lost him momentarily. And that is what today's show will be about. My name is Gary Al Smith, and I'll be steering you from now to the top of the hour. Don't forget that it's Champions League week as well. So we will be looking at the games we'll be serving you tomorrow and on Wednesday. This is the Joy Sports Track. It's powered by the Joy Sports team and proudly brought to you by Bet138.com.
Joy 99.7 FM.
So we can begin the talk. Odate Lamte is a former Black Stars player and he joins us on the line now. Thank you for your time, Nee.
Hi.
How are you doing? It's been a while.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, so, I mean, the Black Stars are going to be in action again. There hasn't been a lot of football, so many of us, when the Black Stars are going to play, then it's our own Ghanaian club football. We know that the call-up will be done for Ethiopia this week. Kwesi Appiah, definitely, we know, is going to call the IU brothers. Your thoughts on the fact that he's calling them at a time when they are not in form?
Well, thank you very much. But I think, I think the last time I complained that I'm at the right time, I'm sure Kwesi will call them. But you see, when you know a player, we don't have anything like it's in top form. I'm sure we all know today and Jordan what they can do. So I'm sure with the help of the others, I'm sure when they come and they are together for about 5 days or I'm sure they should be able to bounce back. I'm sure we know what Dede and Jordan can do. So I don't think there's problem now. I'm sure because you know what they can do. That's why he has decided to call them, because this is a crucial moment. We need to win this match at all costs. Maybe that's why he decided to call them back.
That's a key point you raised there. And I mean, several of the comments we got on our social media and even through phone calls suggested that, well, when he was not in dire need of a win, he didn't call them. Now that he needs a win, and the complaint that people have been making is that when you have experienced players, sometimes some of these decisions about not calling them will not help you. And now he is sort of going back to plan A because he knows that it's a crucial game. It's a must-win game.
Well, you know, this is Kwesi Appiah for you. I mean, we can check his record. Why he was assistant, became a senior coach and all that. Kwesi likes to call a lot of players. I'm sure he knows what he's doing, you know. And sometimes as a coach, when you do that, it gives you, you know, a lot of options. You know, maybe that's why Kwesi likes doing that. I'm sure you should have his core team. When Kwesi Kwesi close his eyes and he say he's picking 20 players, he should be able to do that. But sometimes maybe he wants to know when he is not there, he should be able to do that. When this one is not there, maybe that's why he decided to go. But, well, as I said, and we are all saying, I'm sure, yes, this is a crucial moment. After not getting the other 3 points, we know that no matter what, we should be able to win against the Ethiopians. We know what is at stake. If we don't win, we are not going to the World Cup. And I'm sure even me and you, when we are in the shoe, we'll end up calling our best team. I'll end up calling my best team.
Sure.
So this tells you that, yes, Dede and Jordan are one of his best players. That's why he decided to hold on and call them at the right time.
Now, obviously, I mean, I'm sure you've heard also the school of thought that Kwesi Appiah is his own man. He does what he wants. But in this case, would you agree with those who say that he has bowed to public pressure?
Well, you see, Kwesi that I know, Kwesi does things in a quiet manner, like myself. But, we all have our differences. Maybe, yes, a lot of people were complaining why they didn't. For me, I know they will be called, no matter what, when the right time comes. But, yes, maybe it could be the pressure, or it could be that maybe the time is here because we need these 3 points, no matter what. That's why maybe I decided to call them. But I wouldn't say that maybe it's the public pressure. That's why I decided to call them. Maybe it's the right time to call them because me and you, as I said, we need to win this point, this match. And no matter what, even if our best player is not very well and we think we can call him so that he can be on the field for us to get this 3 points, we'll do that. Maybe that's why he's calling these boys again.
Right. Speaking of best player, I mean, undisputedly, one of our best strikers for a generation has been Asamoah Gyan. He's been on hard times in the last couple of years, especially because of unfortunate injuries that have ensured that he has not been quite consistent. As a country, we've been looking for a replacement, and the truth is that we have not got a replacement for Asamoah Gyan yet. Is it time for us to actively start moving on, first of all?
Well, you see, when it comes to Asamoah Gyan issue, I quite remember our generation, when it comes to the early 90s, coming to when I started playing the Black Star. I mean, Tony Abua was our go-getter.
Yeah.
And then he came down, and, well, we have his replacement. So, you see, when it comes to that position, sometimes it's a bit difficult because what he's been doing is difficult for somebody to do that.
Yeah.
That's why we are having, but it's up to Ghanaians to have patience to the national team or to the coach that is there to introduce somebody who can step in Asamoah Gyan's shoe now. And for me, everybody can say whatever he wants, but for me, I think Jordan should be the right person. We should just give him the time and the patience. I'm sure Jordan should be somebody who can step in Asamoah Gyan's shoe. I mean, football is black and white. Anything can happen. But for me, for all what I've seen, all the strikers that have come to the senior national team till now, I think, yes, we have Waris, we have Boateng, we have Boateng, Adam and Co. But if we have patience for Jordan, I'm sure he should be able to carry the team on his shoulder maybe for the few years to come.
Right. Daniel Abochi on our Facebook says, Gary on our live stream says, can you ask Odate Lamte what he thinks about the fact that, yes, Asamoah is an experienced player, we should give him time. However, my personal opinion is that Asamoah and the many issues he has around him is not healthy at the moment for him to be called up. Odate, what do you say?
You see, yes, and that's not where he's coming from. But you see, as a professional football, you face these challenges. Somebody can carry a problem on his head or on his mind, but when he gets on the pitch, that 90 minutes, that problem will be off. After 90 minutes, that problem will come back again. So it's up to Asamoah Gyan if he thinks he can carry this problem and still perform. But as I say, as professional as he's been for so many years, I mean, yes, he should be able to do that. There's no doubt about that. I think Asamoah Gyan can play today, forget his problem, and after we all have been in this situation before.
Yeah.
Don't forget, that's why footballers sometimes, I don't know how to say it, but the problems that footballers have before going on the pitch, perform and then after still face the problem is huge. So I'm
Yeah.
sure Samajan should be able to handle the situation very well.
Okay, now back to Kwesi Appiah. Going forward, I mean, because of this perception that, you know, there's a bit of inconsistency in the call-up today, this player is in form, but he doesn't call him, the player is out of form. Going forward, do you think, or what do you think should be the coach's criteria, if he should have one at all?
Well, I think he is the right person to give us this criteria, but and I heard his interview also that he doesn't have any reason to come out and explain ABCD. So the only thing is, if things does not go right, then we hold him responsible. So until he will be doing that and he's winning. I mean, we have nothing to complain about. We have nothing to complain about.
All right. Thank you, Odate. We really appreciate your time and all the best this week.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Odate Lamte is a former Black Stars player weighing in on the impending collapse that we know of the Ayew brothers. Speaking of the Ayews, today is the birthday of the maestro, Abedi Ayew Pele, the incomparable one. Happy birthday from all of us at the Joy Sports team. Also, happy birthday, which has been showered on you by Fifi Taki, your main man, as well. So that's how we begin the show. Joy 99.7 FM, the Joy Sports track, is powered by the Joy Sports team. And we are approaching 29 minutes after 1 in our studios. Hans Mensando is here. Hans,
Yes,
so
Gary.
we got the news that the Ayew brothers will be called. Asamajan is coming back. We put it out there, and then the reaction is what we ran by Odate Lamte. I mean, some felt that they're out of form. Why should they be called now? You know, is the coach not watching them? And then Asamajan, okay, he's a good player, but there are too many issues with him now. It will distract the team because in some certain advanced, national teams, currently there's Ronaldo issue. He's been asked to step aside from the national team because they don't want any, sponsorship issues and whatnot. Your whole take on everything.
Well, first of all, I listened to the interview you had with Odate Lamte, and I think that he was largely diplomatic, and I can understand. On the Ayew brothers bit, first of all, it's rather bizarre, isn't it, that, these guys were in good form in the Black Stars. You see, it wasn't just because they were in good form, but they were in good form and the Black Stars were struggling.
Yeah.
And the coach decided that, look, he wasn't going to call them. And I backed him. I think that for a coach, if you've got issues that are not personal, that are technical, if you feel that these players don't fit in your system or for one reason or the other, you don't think that they should be a part of the team. I'm all for it. So long as the team gets the right results.
Like what I said at the end.
Absolutely. But you left the Ayew brothers out. Some of us backed you. And bizarrely, at a time when they don't seem to be in good form, you decide to call out these players. Now, I hear Odate talk about the fact that when you know what a player can do, the form doesn't matter. I mean, with all due respect, I disagree, Otherwise, we know what Stephen Appiah can do. Let's just call it.
That's on the far end of the spectrum.
Yeah, well,
I think we all know what Odate means.
Yeah, well, we know what Odate himself can do. So
No. But Hans, let's be fair to Odate.
Okay, well,
we know what he's trying to say.
I get you. That's the truth. But the point I'm making is that there's a reason why, we decide that we
are calling players on
we'll
form.
call players on form.
Yeah.
Because if we decide that we know what a player can do, and so if even he's not in good form,
we know what a player can do equates reputation. We can't call players.
We can't call
on
reputations.
Yeah.
I think that we need to call players who are in good form. It's a basic criteria that you are calling a player because of the form that the player is. You see, a player's form is a pointer to what he can do at a particular moment.
Absolutely.
We know what you can do. You've done it before, but at this moment in time, you are not doing it. Your form suggests that you cannot do it at this moment in time. And that is why we decided that we are going to call players whose form suggests or is a pointer to what they can do at a particular moment in time. And so, for me, I'll just have to wait. I don't want to be too hard on Kwesi Appiah.
Yeah.
I want to wait and see what the Ayews are going to bring on board. But on paper, their form suggests that they won't be able to deliver for the Black Stars. Going by the point I made earlier on. I don't know what informed his decision, but I think that it also brings to the fore that notion that he's not his own man. If you remember, he's always been one of the criticism that people have had against Kwesi Appiah.
The sticks that people used
exactly,
to beat him
and
with.
indeed, local coaches, when it comes to the issue of local coaches being appointed for the Black Stars coaching job, people feel that, they put them there and they become pawns, if you like, that people are moving off the chessboard. They don't make the decisions by themselves. I'm hoping that Kwesi Appiah has reflected, has looked at the players, has looked at his team, has looked at the Ethiopians and decided that these guys, despite not being in the best of forms, can come and deliver for the Black Stars, because you've seen it. I mean, Christian Atsu has been on the bench for how long for Newcastle United, but he's called up for the Black Stars. And it fits into the point I made earlier on. We saw Christian Atsu when he was actively involved for Newcastle United, for FC Porto when he came to the Black Stars.
Yeah.
And we saw what Christian Atsu delivers when he's not playing for Newcastle United and he's called up into the Black Stars. But he calls him. My only worry is that we don't want to set a precedent where, one day a player will not be performing and then somebody's going to argue that based on reputation, we have to call that player because he's done it before. You called players who are not in good form, and perhaps your defense of that call-up was that, we know the player's reputation. We know what the player can do.
Right.
So let's not set that precedence. But I want to wait and see what Jordan Ayew, what Andre Ayew will come and deliver for the Black Stars.
And I think that last bit is my personal opinion as well. I mean, look, sometimes they say coaches see things that we don't. He must have spoken to them, whatever it is has happened. Let them come. I mean, if they deliver, then you hit him with the stick. If they don't...
You know that line, let them come. What it reminds me of?
South Africa?
No.
Was it a World Cup?
2008. Stephen
Let them come. Yeah, that was controversy. That's true. So, and then the second bit is about, Asamoah Gyan. I mean, I had some really interesting opinions this month, or in the past 2 weeks, when the whole issues of his divorce and alleged divorce, and then later his lawyers come to say that it's an annulment and not all that. And immediately the thing happened. The following day, he had his first start. Asamoah Gyan scores and then has 2 assists. And I'm like, sometimes some of these players are so mentally tough. I mean, Ronaldo is just scoring. I mean, he doesn't give two hoots about. Yeah. He scored his 41st goal of the year, meaning that he has scored more than 40 goals for 8 years running. Mentally, some players are just tough. They are just tough. But some of the arguments I was getting, and one was a very long comment on WhatsApp, was that, okay, Asamoah Gyan can do it, but what signal does it send to the younger players as well? And does it distract them? Or Ghana is not like, abroad where some of these things can be distractions. So what is your thoughts?
Okay, so first of all, clearly,
too much controversy around him?
The issue will not be a distraction to his performance, judging by what, he did for his club side a day after the news broke. But then again, the difference I see that this is a very personal problem. This is not a problem that has any links to the Black Stars team. He's going through marital issues, if you like. What I know of players is that sometimes they get onto the field of play and they forget about everything else. Yeah. They are in a zone
which is what Odate just
said.
They
are in a zone where they are simply performing. Ronaldo's is different because there are commercial elements or strings attached to his problem if he's called up to the Portuguese team, and so on that score they feel that it's best to leave him out. I think that we've had in the past players who had marital issues who are still being called up into the Black Stars. If they came and performed, I don't think that anybody's going to have any qualms. The only problem is that Asamoah Gyan comes and he's not himself. Everybody sees clearly that mentally he's in a different place.
That's Asamoah Gyan I know will be himself.
He'll probably give you that dance.
No. I mean, the day after the news broke, ask the guy. No, not just perform.
He delivered.
No, he was on Instagram the following morning. Okay. Benedict, were we not in the newsroom? Benedict is here.
So I don't think that
George,
I don't think it should be much of a problem.
Yeah, Fifi wasn't drew my attention to it.
Is he in good form?
And we watch Asamoah Gyan live
if
on
he's
Instagram.
in good form, I don't think that his personal problems is going to affect him.
Yeah.
I don't think it will affect the team by extension because he has no links to the team. It's his problem as an individual, and I don't think how it extends.
Right. So Benedict is here. George Ado is also here.
Hans was asking a question. He played their cup game, which he scored and also provided an assist.
2 assists.
Their last game, he didn't play over the weekend. He was on the bench for Kayseri Sport.
Sure.
They lost 3-1 here. They went away and lost 3-1. But I mean, if you are looking at footballing reasons, there is no way you call Asamoah Gyan, no way you call Jordan Ayew, no way you call Andre Ayew. But maybe Kwesi Appiah has looked at the materials available. He has realized that maybe I have scrap and that I should look around and get some players that have done it. Yeah, I've done it before because where we've got into at this stage is very crucial. If you should lose,
please remind us of what the group is like.
Now it's very tight because of our 2 games, our botched 2 games with Sierra Leone. So what it means is that Kenya are now leading our group with 7 points. And Ghana, having played 2 games, lost 1, won 1, we have 3 points. And also, we have Sierra Leone in there also with a point. Also with a point, yeah. And Ethiopia as well, because Ethiopia won 1 game.
Yeah.
So what it means is that we have to win this game at all costs, because you don't know what will happen in your game against Kenya here. The Kenyans have now developed some confidence after their win over Ghana, and also their awesome display in Addis Ababa and going back to the Kasarani Stadium to win their last game. So what it means is that now they are
Ethiopia are second with 4 points.
Yeah,
Ghana are third.
Yeah, we are third. They are fired up. So you don't know what's going to happen in that game here. So all you have to do is win this game against Ethiopia, and then you wait for CAF's decision. If you're going to get 6 points, bingo, then we qualify. But if not, and our game even against Sierra Leone is going to be rescheduled. You know how difficult it is playing against Sierra Leone in Freetown. Yeah. So we are in a very tight corner, and probably maybe Kwesiapia has realized that. I mean, yeah, looking at the players around, I don't think that these guys, after giving them so many opportunities, you can talk about Majid Waris, Rafael Jamna, why don't get these guys back in? Yes, we all know there are issues, but I mean, the most important thing is to get a team to the Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, if you have a Balotelli in your team, if you have a Kevin Prince Boateng in your team, who will come and cause problems, but at the end of the day, will deliver. Which one do you go for?
Yeah, so speaking of personnel, we understand that a level below the MLS is the USL.
Yeah.
And that's where Didier Drogba's team is Phoenix
Rising.
Phoenix Rising. And that's where Solomon Asante plays. We understand that he will also get a call-up.
Northern Conference?
Yeah, they won the Western Conference.
The Western
Conference.
Yeah. So
on Solomon Asante is simple.
35 games.
Yes.
He scored 14 goals and had 9 assists as Phoenix Rising won the USL title.
Yeah, Solomon Asante is a personal friend, and I have nothing against him, but he doesn't deserve a call up to the Black Stars. I mean, if you play in the USL, that's the second tier
of the MLS.
Okay, not even the MLS.
And the MLS itself, how?
We've seen players in the MLS. I'm not saying the MLS is not a good league, but we've seen players in the MLS and USL. You play in the USL and you win. You can win anything in the USL, but not to the level of our Black Stars. That's why I'm saying that maybe at this point, we don't have the material. So Kwesiapia is looking at players that previously did it for him and did it for the nation. Because when you talk about Solomon Asante, when he was on top form, he was playing very well at TP Mazembe. He was one of our key players in the Black Stars. At the 2013 World Cup, we were all calling for Solomon Asante. 2013 Africa Cup of Nations. Yeah. Sorry, we were all in South Africa. We were calling for Solomon Asante to be included in the team because he was one of the players shining after helping Bekum Chelsea in the CAF Champions League in 2012, and then he moved out. You understand? So probably maybe, yes, he looked at all these factors and said, okay, these are players.
Well, our job now is to, I mean, you've articulated that for Hans, I'll come to you in a moment, but why don't we do our own analysis? I mean, you say we don't have a lot of, maybe Kwesiapia is dealing with bare bones in terms of the talent, but from what we know, does he really have only bare bones to call from?
Not at all. I mean, if I were the coach, probably I will also be looking around players that are playing, that are on top form, that are playing consistently, not names. There are so many players that are playing. There are so many Ghanaian players out there. I mean, if you are talking about strikers, there's no way you mention strikers and forgo probably maybe a player like Richmond Boachi-Yadom because of his consistency for his club side Real Star Belgrade. When you talk about Levante's Boateng, well, you could say that Emmanuel Boateng, you could say that in his last 8 games, he's not scored a goal. And if you're a striker and you play top-level football in Europe and we need you to play in our Black Stars and you've played 8 games, and you've not scored a goal, it's the same situation as the Jordan Ayew situation. Jordan Ayew, since he moved to Crystal Palace, it's not even about the game time. It's also about goals. But I've always heard this argument about how we shouldn't always judge strikers by the number of goals they score, but we should also look at their contribution in the team. But there's also another point we should know. Yes, your contribution in a team matters, but you're a striker. You are brought in to score goals. So
that's your main use.
That's your main thing that you're supposed to do. You're not a midfielder or a defender. A defender scores a goal is a bonus. If a midfielder scores a goal, it's a bonus. But striker, it won't be a bonus if you score, because that's your main job. It will only be a bonus if you play very well in a team, assist for other players to score. You understand? So I'm thinking that, yes, scanning around, looking at our players that are playing abroad, now there's no Premier League where you say that, okay, we should also look at some local players here. So obviously, at the end of the day, you always have to fall on these guys, the bogus. You know, you always have to fall on these guys. So I believe that going forward, if their youths are coming, fine. I mean, we shouldn't dwell too much about their form at their respective clubs. If Asamoah is coming, fine. We just have to look at their contribution and what they are going to do.
Yeah, so this is the Joy Sports track on 99.7. The discussion on the Black Stars and the call-ups that will be coming in the very, very crucial game. Ghana is third on the group as well. Ethiopia is ahead on second with 4 points. Ghana has 3 points. And Kenya have 7.
So what it means is that we have just 2 games to play.
Wow.
And after playing against Ethiopia, we are left with 1, which will be played in March.
Wow.
You see, Gary, quick point.
Wow.
I'm worried because I get a sense that Kwesi Appiah will be calling up players purely based on reputation and not on current form. If my memory serves me well, we've been in this situation before. I think that for the France 98 World Cup qualifiers, we found ourselves in a situation where we called up players by reputation, players who were not necessarily in good form, and we saw what happened. And then we found ourselves asking ourselves questions like, but I mean, Tony Abba was playing, Abedi Pele was playing, this person was playing, and yet we got beaten, and we didn't qualify for the World Cup. So I get it. He may be at a crossroads where he's called up players that he felt were in good form. He called up players where he felt were playing week in, week out for their clubs, and they've not performed. And so, why don't I call up players who have done it before, players with the experience? But if these players come and they don't perform because their form suggests that they will not be able to perform, what then happens? Essentially, because Appiah is putting his head on the chopping block. And you know, I'm hoping that he doesn't give some of us the axe to chop it off, because we will chop it off. I mean, look, it's why I don't think that he's casting his net wider as he should. Because where's Samuel Tete? He's playing.
Yeah, he's back from injury. He's playing for LASK.
Okay, so take his reputation as a player and the fact that he's recovered from injury and he's playing, and tell me he doesn't deserve to be called up.
Well, I think if Samuel Tete is fit, he
is he not fit?
He's
that's
playing.
That
if he's fit,
mean, he has to be called up. One of the arguments, I've made this argument over the last 5 years or so, Enoch Edukofi. I don't understand why he doesn't get a look into the Black Stars. If you're able to call up Edwin Jima, you cannot justify why you cannot call up Enoch Edukofi. He's played Champions League football, he doesn't get called up. He plays Europa League football, he doesn't get called up. He's I don't know of any other player in Europe who has been.
If you're talking about then let's talk about Joseph Edu.
But they are there.
They are there. The bottom line is that they are
see,
there.
if you're looking at the basic criteria, there are players there who are consistently playing for their clubs week in, week out, who are not getting a look in. So then, I think that the coach or the technical team is simply not casting their net wide enough. And that's a problem.
Yeah, but I think we're making it difficult for Kwesi Appiah too. I'm not Kwesi Appiah's spokesperson, but making the job difficult for Kwesi Appiah, because this is it. Kwesi Appiah starts and clearly wants to, build a new team. And when he has one bad result, everybody says, you see, you should just use the old guys. And he lives in Ghana and he hears all of these things. Then he decides, okay, let me go with these old guys to get a result. And the media come in again and say, they are not on form this time. I think the job is clearly difficult for him. At this point, but to make it, yes.
It's the reason he earns $50,000 a month. It's a difficult job.
Yes, I understand. But you know that there are some players that Ghanaians want to see in the team because they believe they can do the job.
No, Ghanaians want to see players who come and deliver.
That's right.
You see, Ghanaians don't care about the names.
I don't want to go back.
If you call me and
right.
Benedict and we beat Kenya, you think Ghanaians really give a hoot?
Hold on. When Ghana played against Kenya, yes, failed to score a goal. Teams have bad days; they can't score goals, but they created chances. Was that enough to start crying for those who were not called up? I'm asking the question. Was that enough to start crying for those who were not called up? Because that was a setup that produced a lot of chances. Yeah. So, teams have bad days when they can't score a goal. But if you put too much pressure on Kwesi Appiah, he says, okay, then let me look at this time around. So if we decide as a country that we want to move on with building players, let's build players and give them more opportunities.
I think
that's what it is.
I think that's why we are here. Because
So let's give the players more opportunities, and if we decide that we are moving on, then we move on. But we don't say move on. When it doesn't work out, say, hey, come back. Why didn't you get this guy? It's
George,
difficult.
George, and I think that's
Yeah.
why we are here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, after the Kenyan game, we all know what happened.
Yeah.
He was criticized.
And
that
he's doing
he-
this. Yeah, he's doing this because of what happened
exactly.
after the Kenya game.
And I heard people say that what a half-fitter Samoa
It's better than that.
than
And they
Abdul
did
Majid
Ayus,
Wise,
and
and
they
if
Ayus,
Andrew Ayew
and they
was
were-
in, and if Jordan Ayew was in, they would have scored that ball.
So
That
Kwesi Appiah
Appiah-
will
So
go
he's
back.
done that.
yeah,
he's
done
done
that.
that.
But what I want,
Okay.
he has done that. But what I want to see is that, I mean, Hans made a fantastic point earlier on where he talked about Christian Achu at Newcastle United. Achu hardly plays at Newcastle these days. It's recently that when it comes to the Black Stars, he doesn't perform. But previously, when Achu is not even playing at club level and it comes to the national team, he's one of our top players. You understand? Yeah, Jordan Ayew is getting some decent match playing time at Crystal Palace, but not playing full 90 minutes. Andrew Ayew in the last game, he played full 90 minutes, which they drew 2-2 against Galatasaray. These are players that on any day, on a very good day, they will perform for you. I mean, I saw Andrew and his brother Jordan in a game against the Congo at the Africa Cup of Nations, and that was, for me, one of the best games they've played for the Black Stars. Both scored in that game. And at this point where we are talking about qualifying for another Africa Cup of Nations, I mean, yeah, there are problems, there are issues. But, Gary, if these are the guys that will give you the results, why don't you just go with them? And moreover, we are the same people that always been putting pressure on the coach. I remember saying it after the Kenyan game that, you know what, this is just one bad result. Because since Kwesi Appiah came, let's talk about the games that he's played. He played against Ethiopia in Kumasi. He won convincingly by 5-1. Yeah. And then we drew against Congo. We went without Andrew Ayew as Samoajan and Jordan Ayew, played a couple of friendly games, which we won convincingly as well. See the game we played against Japan. Okay. Great performance by the team against Iceland as well. And then we came and we drew against Kenya. And then the boys should come back. And now they are here.
Kenyans to understand why Kenya.
Yeah,
should be
they are
Ghana.
here. They are here. Come and play. Let them come.
You know, Gary, just says.
I have a couple of comments on the live stream.
This is a taboo. Kenya can beat Ghana. What happened? Where's someone?
But you see, that's how fans are. That's how fans are.
Real quick, certain jobs are difficult.
Very.
Certain jobs are essentially decision-making jobs. Essentially, you are paid to make decisions.
Certain jobs also
I'm
need
coming.
patience.
Oh, no, I get you. For certain jobs, you must understand that everybody will have an opinion. Yeah. You understand me?
Everybody.
But the only opinion that matters
Is yours.
Because you are paid to do the job. And so if you budge to people's opinions, if you crack under pressure and you make the wrong choices, then you're not fit to do the job in the first place.
Anyway.
You've decided you are calling up players by reputation. Players who are not necessarily.
I know Hans.
Who are not necessarily.
I remember very well.
Hans, if there was no Ayew and there was no Samoajan in this,
I remember very
you'd
well
say,
after the Kenyan
we
game.
are playing
Hans
against
was one of the people
I've always backed Kwesi Appiah's decision not to call up.
Hands.
Same person.
I've always backed Kwesi Appiah's decision not to call up the Ayew brothers for his own reasons. If he feels that they don't fit it or he can't work with them, don't call them, because at the end of the day you want results. If you can't work with somebody, you don't call up the
But do
person.
you think they deserve a chance or not?
On current form,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay. But that's why I said he's put his head on the chopping block. Hopefully he doesn't hand me the axe. Because if it doesn't work, I'll chop it
It's
off.
because you're looking for the axe. You still find it.
Oh, Hans is not looking. Don't worry, Hans. Anyway, comments coming in on our Facebook live stream. If I see several of you have been watching on Joy 99.7. Edu Tutu Skele is watching.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Edu Tutu Skele. That's the name. He has a reputation. We should call him.
I should call him.
Edu Tutu is in the US now. Oh, Edu Tutu Skele.
Yeah.
No, they shut her off. Have you been seeing his pictures of him? No, he's looking really, really good. Anytime I see his photos, I'm really happy for him. Shout outs to you, Edu. Probably give a few of our young strikers some lessons and all that. Samuel Ajeni Mboatin says it's great to hear Neodati Labnte on the show. Vera Lucia Silva says that she's enjoying the show. Edward LMS Taki says Ghana football has been resting on past glories comfortably now for some time now. It needs some proper restructuring. It's long overdue we get a striker who is fit to do better than Asamoah Gyan. Asamoah is an old horse now.
Easier said,
Easier said than done.
said.
So those are a couple of comments on our Facebook page, on our live stream as well. So on the Black Stars, I mean, I'm sure the squad will be coming. You can look out for it on myjoyonline.com. Possible strikers to get called. A list that one of my producers has put together to compare. Warriors has 1 goal. Jordan has no goals. Yadom has 5 goals. That's this season. Asamoah has a goal. William Owusu has 5 goals. Boateng has no goal. Jamna has no goal. Samuel Tete has no goal. So
But Gary,
goes back to the point.
Yeah, in terms of strikers, you know, there's one Ghanaian player we are all forgetting about, and that's Benjamin Tete. Remember him from the under-20 team, 2015 in Senegal and also New Zealand. He used to play for Dreams FC before.
Yeah, you covered him in Senegal.
Yeah, he's scoring, and he's the highest Ghanaian player. He's the highest scorer in terms of our Ghanaian players abroad. He's scored 8 goals now.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
As compared to all the other players.
Where does he play though?
Well, he is this Slavia Prague or something?
Yeah, it's Slavia Prague.
Yeah,
and that is, I mean,
That's a decent league.
It's a decent league.
It's a decent league.
Yeah.
So if you are talking about strikers that are on current form and are scoring, then Benjamin Tete should get a look.
It's a decent league.
Yeah, you.
I mean, for
us to come from USL.
Yes, that's exactly the point. Players are being called out from the USL.
But you know,
so.
Gary, the way Jordan Ayew may be employed, you know, in Crystal Palace will not be the same way in the Black Stars. So sometimes
anyway, we know that Majid Ashimeru, Majid Ashimeru, former Wafa, is rumored to be called up as well. He's got 12 games, scored 1 goal, and he's got 2 assists. So
he's playing
Benjamin Tete
well.
plays for Sparta Prague.
Yeah, Sparta Prague.
Prague.
Thank you.
Right.
But it's important. Majid Ashimeru, for instance, I'm really glad that he's been called up. For a while, I was beginning to think that he was going to end up in the same situation as Edu Kofi because he's been performing very well.
He's playing very well.
Very well. All right, so Black Stars, we've done Black Stars for now on what?
Gary, maybe
30 something
minutes. 2 minutes to talk about Black Queens and Black Princesses as well.
Yeah, we will do that. That's what we are coming to right now.
Sorry, okay.
For the under 17 World Cup, the maidens are going for that in Uruguay, and then of course the Queens will start campaigning to win the AFCON for the women in Ghana.
After what was very difficult, start to their tour of Zambia, they had to live in batches. Now,
you mean the Queens?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Queens. Yeah, so they played their first game against Zambia over the weekend, which they lost by 3-2. But you would want to, side with them and not criticize the team because of how they traveled.
Yeah, sure.
Some left, others joined a day before the game, so they lost 3-2. Now they are currently in Kenya. They will play against the Shipolopolo girls of Kenya. That's on Wednesday, after which they will come back to Ghana and play South Africa here. That game is the official game they will use to open the Accra Stadium. I think that will be next week, Thursday, and the tournament kickstarted this Saturday's week. But for the Black Maidens, as you rightly noted, they are going to Uruguay. Currently, they are in Brazil, Sao Paulo, preparing. They played against FC America, and they won by 4-0. Yeah, normally when you look at the Black Maidens and you monitor them, they always will do this for you, will score quite a number of goals before they go for competitions, but they are in a very tight group. They are in the same group with Uruguay and New Zealand as well as Finland.
The host nation.
Yeah, the host nation as well. So they just have to step up. Evans Adote is the manager of the maidens team, and we just all have to pray that these teams will do well. Most importantly, they are all national teams and we all would want them to win, but most importantly, if the Black Queens are able to do the host and win here, it will be awesome and it will be fantastic. So we just have to support them, support Bashir Hayford and the girls. I understand Priscilla Ochre, who is now based in Serbia, has also joined the team. Other players expected to also come. Sandro Usu from Lebanon has joined the team as well, with a few other players joining in. So we should have a very full, formidable team for the tournament, which begins on November 17th.
Hans, quickly?
Yeah, real quick. I mean, it's a statement that I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with. We have to disband the Black Meteors. We are not serious about it.
They're under 23 team.
Yeah,
But we're not,
Hans raised that. I think that's something we
under
have to look at.
23 is not on board today, but
see, they've got a qualifier this month.
Yeah, they have to play against Togo. Yeah, they'll play.
They are not even in camp as we speak.
I know.
They recently got a coach. Relax.
Let's discuss this. They just got
to disband them.
No,
Normally what happens with the Black Meteors is, they play.
It's a seasonal
every 4 years.
Yeah.
So if there's an All Africa Games coming, and then they'll play. Yeah, they have qualifiers for Olympics as well.
In about 3 weeks, and you are not in camp.
They just got a coach, even Hans.
You see,
yes, but you are not in camp.
well.
Even with that issue, I was told that he was appointed during the era of former GFA president, but because of the ANAS issues and all that, they couldn't
So they just
announce him as the coach of the team. But he's been there for some time.
You see, we'll be here. We'll go and come and say, "Oh, inadequate preparation," and the same rhetoric over and over again.
No problem, Hans.
I can tell you that we'll beat Togo. Don't worry.
Anyway, in other news coming up here on JoyFM,
Madrid are still trying the best on the right-hand side. And already they've got the first goal. And guess who has put that ball in? Cristiano Ronaldo gets another goal against Juventus.
So it's Champions League week. We'll be back with some more from tomorrow. George is here. George.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you. That's you talking.
Yeah. Which you talking.
Talking.
Yeah. So what? UEFA Champions League European nights on
There's
Joy.
Group
It's back
A,
tomorrow.
Group B, Group C, Group D.
Our game tomorrow is Napoli versus PSG. Now that group is an interesting one. I mean, I'll allow Benedict to go through that group. You know what it is. You have to get your win anyway against Red Star Belgrade.
George, it's a very, very tight group. Now, even with what Liverpool did in their last game at home to Red Star Belgrade, they still have to go there and get a good result. A good result means they have to get a win because Paris Saint-Germain drew with Napoli.
Yeah.
Now, Napoli also are doing very well in that group, having won their game against Liverpool at home and then went away to France for that all-important draw. So what it means is that if they're able to get a good result against PSG at home and Liverpool should win, Liverpool will still occupy top of that table. But Napoli will still be second with Paris Saint-Germain there. If you look at the points there, it's 6-5-4. Liverpool 6, Napoli with 5, and then Paris Saint-Germain with 4 with the Red Star. Red Star out. But there are 3 teams, Liverpool, Napoli, Paris Saint-Germain, all can qualify.
Yeah.
Makes it very interesting.
Yeah, so that makes it an interesting game.
That's why you should listen to us.
You have to listen to us, Napoli versus PSG. And then, yes, we'll be keeping our
And then
eyes
the times
on
have changed.
The times have changed now. So our build-up will then now start at 7:45. Yeah, and game starts at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
So we're going
So,
to 10.
no, that's on Tuesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday. The same thing. 7:45.
And the early kickoff is starting 5:55.
5:55.
Yeah.
Yes.
On Wednesday, we know we have a program from 7 to 7:45.
40. 7 to. I mean, our programs are in. So Jig Squad will go 7 to 7:40, and then Strong and Sassy 7 to 7:40 on Wednesday, and then we take it.
So
from
we'll
there.
come after those two programs.
Yes, after
Tomorrow,
those two
right after Geek Squad.
Yes.
And then on Wednesday, right after Nashokos, Strong and Sassy.
Yes.
So 7:45. Please join us for
We
a
have to be
quick
strong in football too for us.
and Sassy in football as
And
well.
on Wednesday, it's Manchester United versus Juventus.
Sheesh.
And you know what makes it interesting is the betting boys are always listening. So, you always want to hear how George
Live
will
in
tell them
play.
that, live in play and all that.
Yes,
You know the boys at the background.
They know
you
what's
know
up.
the boys I'm talking about.
we know them. All right, thank you guys.
And we got a great sponsor on board now. Bet138.com.
Bet138.com is the sponsor of our Champions League coverage. So we'll catch you tomorrow, 7:45. It means we'll go home an hour later. George, it
I'm
means
fine.
that the
I'm
traffic.
fine. You need help, but I'm fine.
No.
The traffic is clear.
No, but you will have to come early in the morning for Sports Center.
Yeah, but I'm fine. We need to get home quickly.
Me?
No,
I am fine. I don't come to work early.
Okay.
Bad man.
Oh.
Thank you for listening to us on the Joy Sports Track. Many thanks to the guys, Hans Mensah Ando, George Ado Jr., and also Benedict Osudankwa. We'll be back next week with more. Bye-bye. I'm Gary L. Smith.